Awesome. All right. So when we were or when I was gone with odd hours, remember we started working through the Punic Wars. Yesterday, you all started watching those Edpuzzle videos after you kind of did your vocab stuff for government, right? So basically, we got to different spots on the video. I think a lot of us probably got to video 4. So that way we would be able to kind of know what's going on. So this sheet that you have in front of you is called an event tracking map. Basically, we use this to help us to organize important events about important parts of a historical event. So if something super important happens in history, we can use one of these to help us understand why it was important. So if you look at the top, it says event. Well, what's the thing that the videos were about? What's the event that we're learning about? If you know it, say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Punic Wars. So at the top where it says event, write the Punic Wars. Do that now, please. I am so glad that is the joke that you went with instead of what you could have said that would have been borderline inappropriate. So great job being funny. Okay. Since we're recording and we don't need to have a bunch of dead time, I feel like we understand that you're supposed to write the Punic Wars where it says Punic Wars. So go ahead and write that while I'm talking, but I'm going to explain the next part. So the next part, you will see that it says significant people and places involved. This is where you're going to write down any locations that might go into a grapes chart for geography. This is where we're going to write down any people. So, to kind of help you out with that, what I did on my sheet is I put a little line down the middle, and all the things that have to do with Rome are going to be on one side of the slide. All of the things that have to do with Carthage are going to be on the other side of the slide. So that way, in addition to knowing who's important and what's important, you will know if it's important for Rome or if it's important for Carthage. You are going to write all of this down, but write it kind of small and leave space because you're going to be putting other things in there. So go ahead and write these down on the box that says significant people and places involved, but leave room because there's going to be more that you're going to write. Okay? So go ahead and do that now. You should have had a chance to write down the significant people and places. I want to continue to explain how this works so that way when you get to the independent work, you will understand what to do. So the next part of this sheet, you see how it says actions and activities? That is the most important, bless you, part of this organizer. Now, for the actions and activities, it's very important that you listen carefully so you do not mess up. Do you remember how I told you that I was sad that I didn't really get to go into as much time in the Punic Wars as I wanted to? So the way that this is set up, it was set up to be like a 4-day lesson thing. And what was going to happen was each day, like last year, each day, 7th graders came in. Their due now was to grab one of these event tracking maps, was to watch one of the Edpuzzle videos, and to fill out one event tracking map for that video. That's why if you've kind of looked through this slide presentation, you see the slides are different colors because each day there was a different color event tracking map. And that's what you would do, and then we would move on and do another part of our learning. Obviously, we don't have the time to do that this year, so we aren't doing that. Here's why that is important for you. You are not going to be drawing a picture for every single action. So last year when 7th graders did this, they came in, they watched video 1, they had to do the action thing for every single one of these, okay? So they would do all 8 boxes on this white part. And then when they come in on Tuesday, they'd get a pink paper or a purple paper, and they would do the same thing on the purple paper. You are not doing that. So here's what you need to listen to make sure you do not mess up. For you all, we're going to be putting the super important high points from the whole video series. So you know how you watch the 4 videos? The things that you're going to be putting in the event tracking map are going to be across all 4 videos. Okay? That means we are not putting everything from every single video. The little boxes here, you do not write notes in, you draw a quick sketch that describes the notes. Because remember, you already have the notes, they're on the PowerPoint slide. So you don't need to rewrite the notes down, you have the notes. The way you're going to remember it and learn it is by creating pictures or little sketches that go with each thing. Now again, you are only drawing sketches for the things that are highlighted in yellow, or when you get to the last set of slides, they're blue. Okay? Bright yellow and blue do not really go together. So on the last slide, you will notice that the highlights are white. So anything that is highlighted yellow or white, you are going to draw a picture or a quick sketch of. Does that part make sense? Okay. So you see how like this is yellow? You would draw a sketch of that one. Okay? On the blue slides, it's white. So anything that is yellow or white is going to go in one of the boxes. Here's where you need to make sure you're listening. Since we only picked out the 16 most important things out of all slides, ignore the numbers here because you are only getting one sheet front and back. Okay? So ignore the numbers here. You are just going to go in order. So the first thing that you have highlighted is going to go in box 1. Even though this says number 5, you're going to put that in box 2. Even though this says number 6, you're going to put it in box 3. So you're going to go in order on the sheet. Ignore these numbers. Does that part make sense? Okay. The second thing, any things that you need to add to the important people or significant people in places is highlighted this kind of greenish color. So if you see this color, it goes on significant people and places. If you see yellow or white, it goes in one of these boxes, and there are more boxes on the back. Okay? So, your job, first off, is to make sure you have finished watching the videos and doing the 4 Edpuzzle videos. Once you have finished watching the 4 Edpuzzle videos, you are going to start to fill in this sheet. Okay? Green highlights go in this box. Yellow or white highlights, you're drawing a sketch that goes in these boxes here. You're doing it in order. Now, does that mean that you just ignore everything else? No, you still need to read all the rest of the stuff. Okay? You are not writing notes on it. You're not doing pictures for it. But you still need to read it so you have an idea of how the war went. Are there any questions on what I am asking you to do? Okay. Much like yesterday, you can work in class or you can work in the neighborhood. You need to make sure that you have the video watched, the Edpuzzle questions answered in your sheet, completely filled out with the drawings by the end of class.
Okay.
Ready, set, go.